Hello and welcome. This is Dirnan playing Minecraft. Today is another episode of Foolcraft 3 mod pack. Today I'm gonna work on the wall that is gonna go around the whole outside of the city. On most sides of the city there's a river, so I'll just incorporate that either on the village side or the outside of the village side. And then there's some other spots that I'll just have to make a line and use that. So right now I'm going to work on getting a block palette set up using things that I've used in other parts of the city, so that it's not just a whole new thing. So the blue lamp that I use as a light source throughout, and then stone brick, and then I think it's called the temple block. There we go, because that has some different. It's got that kind of blue, cool looking thing, and then a bunch of different chisel stuff. And so just laying it down here to see kind of what this stuff looks like. And then use the chisel also on that stuff to get that looking quite right. Yeah, so I'm liking that. Alright, so now I'm going to build some of the wall and come up with a section design for it, and we'll see how it goes. Alright, I'm back, and I've done a lot of work. So I decided to start outside the village by this wooden bridge near this guard tower. So I built a nice little gate here. It hasn't been finished, but this will be the gatehouse type thing with a big old door that's opened and it doesn't really close, but there you go. We're just pretending that as you're walking from the docks, you'd be coming this way and see this nice big guardhouse and guard tower. And then I kind of stretched the wall along to the other side. So yeah, I did a lot of work on this. And it just so happened that it worked out to run into the other guard tower, so I'll incorporate that in a way, and then also made it go over the top of the other way to get away from the docks into town is through this little thing. I'll have to put something up here to make it a little bit different, but there it is. So the basic design here is that temple block that we just talked about in various forms with a lot of stone. I'll come back through here and use the chisel on here to make it so it's not as stone bricky, and maybe bring in other stone brick looking blocks. But that's the general wall as it stretches from guard tower to guard tower in its current form. The idea being that to get to the guard towers you need to be inside of the wall, and then you can walk along the top of the wall and look out and see down below without having to jump or fly as I can. And then I started doing these stairs here, which I think I'm gonna redo. I kind of like this spinning around bit, but I think I'm gonna just keep it going straight down a little bit and then turn around and then come back down, so that you don't hit your head almost as much there, and that it can just sort of be attached to the back side of the wall, which I haven't finished the back side of the wall because it's at different heights than the front side would be. So I'll have to figure out how that'll look, because this will be the inside face of the wall and it might not need to be as fancy as the outside side of it. But I will try some things out and I'll bring you back. I spent some time reworking this walkway down, and it lets you walk down this way and just keep going. And then you can also take these stairs down, and this leads into what will be the guard tower, down into this little alcove here. I'll most likely wall this off so you can't fall down into there. And then I'll probably need to wall this off. And my guess is that I'll use the same sort of pattern that I used on the main wall here on these blocks, so that it ties in with itself well. But that'll be another time, probably not today. Thought I'd bring you back. I'm just filling in the backside of the wall. So the side that would go on the village side. Just filling in kind of the basic design that would need to be there. And then I will see if I need to include the temple blocks here as a design, or if I need to change that up. So like this one, you know, starts up here where this one does, but then comes down a couple more blocks. So do I just build it up so that it comes away? Do I make this design bigger? I don't quite know. Because at the bottom is some stairs that kind of make this an indent there. So I could make it a stair, just have the stairs come down until it meets the land, and so it's just a big thicker piece on the back, which might look nice. But then what do I do with a spot that has an irregular thing, or is smaller somewhere, like up here, that's much smaller than that? Do I just include this design and then cut it off where the wall is? Do I cut away at the land so that it's equal? Yeah, I'll have to think about it. I'll probably see what it looks like one of the ways and then decide from there. Back in the world here, and I've finished putting in this village side of the wall, and I still don't know what I'm going to do about the issue of like these way up here that are, you know, I put in what it would be with no terraforming and just leaving it as it is. I mean, with these bigger ones down here, I really like it how it just comes off of it like that and just slopes down. It seems to kind of make sense. But I don't know what to do about these ones here. So I'll ruminate on that and think about it and come up with some sort of decision later. So that'll be a future Dirnan problem, not a now Dirnan problem. I also finished putting in these little block off areas so that you can walk down and not get into the wall that way. Thinking about that now, I don't think I need a way into the wall, but maybe I would. Would I? No. Because if you go into the wall, there's the temple block is at this level, and then there's a lamp in the middle just for lighting, and then another temple block. So the only place you could walk is underneath the lamp that's right there. So in some areas there'd be room, but up here there's no room really to walk in there. And the only really place I could think that you'd want to be is in here, where this side I just made it a flat wall and didn't want to repeat any sort of pattern of this thing, because I'm not really sold on this sort of weird pattern of having a few holes where you can see light through and others you can't. Yeah, because I'm not really sure what sort of purpose this has, because there's a tower right there, so I don't need another one right here. I don't think. Anyway, I put on those, and I'll leave it as it is right now. Any sort of thing I would put in there, I'm not sure if it'll ever get seen. I'm wondering if I'll put houses or some sort of something right along here, because it is a fairly large area that would then just be, I don't know, maybe this will be the barracks and a training ground and sort of a yard here. Just clear out all these trees, flatten this all out so it's yeah, something like that. I'm not sure. It might make sense. Alright, so we're going to consider the wall for right now done. And we'll just move on to the next thing, which would be the rest of the wall for the whole place. And at this point, I'll just be looking at this map because it gives a high-level overview of the whole area, knowing that from here, where the one of the entranceways is, I'll just run the wall so that it runs into this tower, and then I'll probably just follow the river here and just have some sort of wall here. The question would be where it would cross over. I mean, way up here seems way too big for this because I haven't really populated anything. So at this point, I would just be putting down markers. I wouldn't actually be building the wall. I'm thinking here it'll follow along the river as well. Or maybe for both of these, it would just kind of come here and cross over right here, and then just follow the river on the side of the village. Or do I want it to zigzag back and forth across the river? I don't know. So I haven't really thought this far ahead. So let me think about it and I'll be right back. Back again here after some thinking and talking to people, and so I'm thinking the wall is going to be on the outside part of the river so that the village would have access to the river, and so that's a big decision made. I started kind of drawing where this wall would go, just a single block high, and it just kind of flows up and down right now. And then I started over here in the magical forest area, just coming from this corner of the tower, and this will be the back side of the wall, I think, or maybe that'll be the middle of the wall, I'm not really sure yet. Just drawing a line, kind of follows the river a bit, and then they'll start hugging it. The tricky part here will be trees. Well, okay, the tricky part here is this tree, which now that I look at it, I can just take this tree out, and then it should be a nice, fairly simple, follow this around, and then I get to another tricky part of do I take out these big trees or leave them in or incorporate them somehow, and then it'll follow here. I mean, like when it juts out like this, it'll probably just be a tower there instead. And what I'm thinking is, so if this was a tower, then there'd be some sort of bridge from this side here, now that I have a cursor, here over to the tower. So a nice little over the river, so there's definitely enough room for things to go under there, and it'll probably just run into the wall. And there's, as the sun sets, there's a couple other spots that are a little higher, like over here in the savannah, so the wall would technically be higher over here than over here, So that would make more sense that it'd be a little stepping bridge up to there. And another place that's higher is over here in the red sand desert area. I'm not sure what biome this is. The outback. So that's the general plan. I'm not sure exactly how that'll work out in 100% of the areas. The other issue is up here where that will cross the river. So, you know, keeping this as part of the village and then just having that cross over here and then run across all this open plains to cut over to here, little lag there, to where there's a natural land bridge where the river just sort of stops. Right, where is it? Here? There's somewhere. I guess that's where trees overlap the river. Huh. All this time. So that's the plan. That's like I'll just outline it at some point. I won't actually build it probably until I get closer to having the buildings in that area, because it might be that I want a tower somewhere where I didn't plan for one, or that sort of thing, based on other things that are gonna spring up in the area. The other thing that we talked about last time was this being a big like training ground, barracks for the guards for the town. I like that idea. So I think I'm going to clear out these trees, which I can just plant again if I need to, so that I can get an idea of how big, what sort of size I would have, you know, a training yard. I mean, this is a natural hill, so I'm not exactly sure what I'll do there, if I'll just keep the hill and have it, you know, have their barracks up here so they're kind of looking over the town a bit. And then do I put like a pedestrian walkway across, or do I force them to come across here? You know, these are all things that I have to decide. But I think that'll be for another episode. Thank you for watching. This has been Dirnan playing Minecraft.